Hey everyone, how's it going? Rough day out there. Um, this is the weekly, so just starting out with the beginning of the week, we'll kind of go over a quick overview. Worldwide Developers Conference was here, so I didn't recommend playing any of this stuff just because there's going to be too much volatility. And the conference started, Apple was up at like 343 or so. So these were your highest at the time. Apple's up here. And what happens is everyone just gets every single week, really every single month, no matter what, just all everyone just loves buying calls on Apple and they start to build up. And that's why I said here, biases on the call side. If I say that, it's going to be biased one way or the other. So if it's biased on the call side, it means it's going to go against it, slide down this way. If it's biased on the put side, it's going to come down this way. If you're not even using this data, if you're just selling covered calls and stuff like that, I just know this data. It's you don't have to use it or anything, but just kind of start to see what I'm getting at. And again, this week selling weekly stuff or buying weekly options is just highly. You got to be a very fast trader and know what you're doing. So hopefully, no beginners took this week and did anything with it. Stick with selling calls until you learn that, and then go from there. So what will happen is just you'll get huge volume, like you got 10,000 here, 10,000 here, 7,500 here, 9,000 here. That just will wipe all that away every single time. And now I'm not saying I knew that was coming because this sell off was more than the developers conference because that was on Monday. This is more just the global S&P total market started selling off. And once you start, once that chart, you guys saw today how much it wanted all week, kept bouncing off that 330, and then just the S&P starts to collapse. And once you get there, just sell orders galore, and just there's nothing you can do about it. And that's one of those things that are unforeseen that who knew you're just gonna see the stock market just dive like this. So that's why I always come back to that. Use that 98% probability range. You're gonna take in less money, but you're not gonna have an ulcer either, because get that one extra strike for that unknown, or two, or whatever it may be, one extra for that unknown. Guess what? You needed that unknown today because it finished above this 325. So that's why I say that is, this is only 30 cents at the time, and this one's $1. Well, that dollar cost you, $1,000 per two contracts if you did a $5 spread. So, but yeah, look out for this bias. That's what will happen if it gets way up here. Odds are it's going to be coming this way. If it's way up here, it's going to be coming this way. And I don't really I don't track too much, but what you will see in that, this is Netflix I have up here. And Netflix is a company that always has puts against it. They're the exact opposite. Everyone's always bearish on Netflix. It's going down, it's going down. And notice this, 80, this is their June monthly one. Now see why it doesn't affect other stocks too much, because they just have tiny. I mean, Apple's having 50,000 contracts. These have 5,000 and 4,000. Big deal. But anyways, see how this puts is 84,000 open interest versus 56 on the calls. So that's why the stock will want to always stay this way, because everyone's just bearish, and it comes up against that wall where this side they need to protect most is the puts. So coming back to Apple is the exact opposite. Everyone loves being bullish on Apple. And then it just comes up against this brick wall every single time. And that's why you have gone from here. Remember these 70,000s were way up here? That was your brick wall. And then weeklies hold it down. Here's your brick wall. Weeklies hold it down. This will start to become this now. It'll be 335. It hits the wall. What's going to happen too is, to a point, what's pretty good, I'm going to jump around here. What's pretty good about going to this June on Apple here, if you guys need a little silver lining, let me just get the June. This is the June monthly, so next week's. Not many people, I mean, all today, even after all that, 330 puts are as far down as they go, in size. and you still have the 320s up here, so that 330s will creep up. These calls, they're kind of all over the place. You got some up here at 375 still, maybe closing them out, but today the highest was, it's going to be just at the money. But I mean, you don't, that's kind of a good sign that you don't have people writing 250s 380s on it. So that should again become rock solid, or it's just proof that people, Apple is so fundamentally sound that it has a floor under. I mean, with all its cash and whatnot. But yeah, what I think is going to happen here shortly, and probably running up to this earnings in July, people coming back from the summer, you'll have August. What's going to happen is, so it was 370, it's going to get creep down, and it's going to get just strangled, not the option strategy, but just so condensed down here like a boa constrictor. You're going to have the highest open interest calls, and it seems to be these puts, 320, 330 right here, are, they're not, people aren't buying down here, so this is staying where this elevator door over here is closing down, closing down, closing down, and it's gonna get to the point where they're even, whether it be at the 320 or 330 or 320, and then Apple's just gonna, once it breaks out of that, it's gonna go. So kind of a good sign. It hurts in the meantime, but that's why for the people selling calls, they're loving right now. What may happen, quick, hopefully something for you guys to look forward to for the weekend, is since a lot of people had to take possession of these 330s, at the stock at 330, they may want to run Apple up above that 330 to dump them or do whatever. So if you're holding a bunch, if you just got put a ton of if you bought the stock at 330 and it's 325 now, your best interest is to have Apple go above your cost basis. So that's kind of a good sign. And usually for the weekends, whenever Apple is down, this one's a little unusual because the total market is down. But whenever Apple's down on a Friday, it's usually because of some sort of options thing. It'll be green on the Monday. So another, hopefully make you sleep better during the weekend. And again, showing you, I forget what I even talked about already. Just to show you guys too that I'm playing along. This is one of my accounts. This is the June monthly, and I have here, this red shows a short position. So I'm short the 315 puts and long the 310 calls. And again, I use that higher probability of coming out here. And this is another one of those things. When I sold Apple, it was 335 or whatever, 340, something like that. And the S&P was like at 1330. And none of this fear selling even existed. So that's when I talk about news events. Some of this stuff is just, you didn't know. Nobody knew. So that's why I say when you're going to sell this stuff or anything, it's at this time. Like, that's all we know. And we're using these as reference points. So that's why I come back and kind of hide behind this backstop, and I go back down one. So 320 was always the highest. I went down to 315. And then you can even go lower. If you want more production, come way down here. Kind of just figure this as your bodyguard, and it's better to hide back here. And sure, every so often you're gonna get hit with a punch, but it'll be half blocked, or at least you have a lot of people fighting for you right here with this commercial money. So come back it off. That's about it for this week.